So after 9 hours of deliberation, the jury has come to a verdict in the Derek Chauvin's case. This is a pivotal moment in American history, they're saying on the news, in light of everything we've shared as Americans, as people that live on the planet as well. We always talk about Americans, but we're human beings and we belong on this planet. And a big part of why I support social justice is because at the end of the day, we all human beings, we all want the same thing. We all have the same needs for ourselves, for our kids, our future. So you already know what I think. I think Chauvin, it took 9 hours, which I don't know. I'm not there, so I don't know what went through those people's minds. But because it took 9 hours, that means, and this has to be unanimous. So it could go any which way, but I have a feeling it's going to be not guilty for Derek Chauvin on at least 2 of the 3 counts. They might give him the lesser count in that his charges. He might get that, but I believe the big ones that we want, that people want, he's going to get not guilty. I have a feeling. Like I said, my black skin, my experiences in this country, from what I've seen through these eyes, is kind of letting me know it's going to be not guilty in the big 2 ones, and the minor ones, possibly he might get a guilty on that. That's how I see it. So they just announced it. I just ran into the kitchen to shoot this clip. But I want to say before I finish, this channel, my YouTube channel, this is my 3rd YouTube channel. I have 2 other YouTube channels. Business, one is personal, family stuff, but it's all public. All my channels are public. I don't hide anything from anyone. And you guys are welcome to check those channels out. But this specific channel that you guys are watching was started because of George Floyd last May. And it was started in response to all the pain I suffered watching that video. And came out of that and I was like really sad and depressed for the whole Memorial Weekend. It just effed the whole thing up. Memorial Weekend. I came out of that depressed. Didn't really have anyone to talk to, right? I know my wife, my family, we all like talked about it, but I was really angry. Right? I spoke to 2 of my friends, are police officers, spoke to them about it, but I couldn't express how angry I was and how hurt I was to anyone, even my family, my wife. So I created this channel as an outlet for myself to do that. And this was all because of George Floyd, all because of the knee in the neck. That's how this channel came about, right? This channel could take off. I could have 1 million subscribers in a year and be prosperous for it, simply because a poor guy died after someone knelt in his neck for a knee. And it's a sad, sad, sad way to start something, to grow this channel, right? And I want this video to be the final of the videos on this issue, right? Whether the verdict goes the way we want it or the way other people want it, it could only go 2 or 3 ways, right? Just to think, we're all in this together. We're all in the same boat. Whether the boat has holes in it or it's a rocky situation, we all experience it. Whether we're the front or the back of the boat, or we're paddling or we're passengers relaxing. We all experience the waves of this boat. Hopefully what follows in the next couple of days and next couple of weeks, my wife, we already got water and paper towels. My neighbors are out there getting toilet paper and paper towels right now as I'm shooting this video. Hopefully what follows will be brief. If it does go the way a lot of people don't want it to go, the carnage that will follow, and there will be carnage and hell to pay, right? It'll be brief, purposeful, and done in a manner that let the future know, the people in the future, right? Past is done, and I always say that. Don't live in the past, ever, right? My number 1 motto, if you were to meet me, and the only advice I was to give anyone, do not live in the past. Learn from it and move on, right? Time is one arrow. I studied physics in school, all the levels of physics in college, to grad school. Time is one rule. Time is a single arrow that goes in one direction. We cannot go back in time. We cannot stop time. We cannot speed up time. We experience time as passengers riding the arrow of time, right? The best way to predict the future, right, is to create the future, right? Don't live in the past. I always tell people, do not live in the past. Learn from it, document it, record it, and keep it in your pocket. But don't always look back and think about the past too much, right? There's nothing back there that's pretty, right? The future is always going to be better, right? Or worse, depending on how we live right now. So don't live in the past. Always think about the future, right? Because that's where you're heading. You're not going back to the good old days, ever, right? There's no good old days to go back to, right? So whatever happens, I wish you well. Like I said, I don't think this is going to change anything. It's just going to be, it's not big enough, I don't think, yet for other people to understand what people feel in this country when we see a Derek Chauvin get a not guilty verdict, right? It doesn't soak in yet. And I don't think it's going to soak in for maybe until my kids are like grandparents. And that's fine with me, right? Because nothing lasts forever. No state is constant. Every system is dynamic and always changing. And if it's not dynamic and always changing, it dies quickly, right? If your system of doing things doesn't change, doesn't evolve, it will die out. Because you know what? While your system is closed in on itself and just focused on itself and myopic and unchanging and solid and ignorant, the world around you that you have to interact with, that you have to exist with, that you have to take life from and breathe, right? And drink water, take stuff in. That world is changing. The temperature is changing, right? The flow of resources is changing, right? People are born every year, every day, and they have their own opinions, their own generation, right? That's not going to be like our generation or our grandparents' generation, right? And that's changing. And if you stay where you are and you don't want to move and you want to hold on to something you think is good and think it's America and think it's what should be, then you will die, right? You'll grow old and alone and just calcify and just frozen in your time and die, right? Not a physical death, but a mental, spiritual death. That's what that is. It's a mental and spiritual death. And that's the worst type of death. My uncle's a minister, and I've heard him say that in some of his sermons. And as an adult, I understand what that means, that mental and spiritual death. Because once you experience that, it's worse than a physical death. You don't know your dad, right? And people celebrate your life when that happens, right? Your loved ones come take care of you and honor you. But when you have a spiritual mental death, no one honors you, no one remembers you, no one cares about you, right? Don't go down that road. Just look around, be open-minded, and think about other people. And that's what I'm about. And I want the channel is created out of something dark, but once this ends, in 1 hour, maybe 40 minutes, once we get that verdict, my channel would have been all you've seen, my frustrations, my anger, right? My rage, it's all gonna be gone, done, right? And I'm be looking forward to the next thing, regardless of the verdict. In a few minutes, we'll be getting that. My wife is on her way home with the kids. She picked them up from school. So I told them just hurry home because I have a feeling, I don't know, but I have a feeling it's not going to go the way people think, and it's not going to go the way other people think, right? It's going to be crazy out there tonight.